Hello, and welcome to In the Know Women's Show. We're glad you could join us for the 8th episode taped right here in the studios of Thurston Community Media. I'm your host, Dottie LaRonge. I'm delighted to have two members of the Women's Club of Olympia on the show today, Sandra Groves and Linda Wolfe. Linda is the current president of WCO, and Sandra Groves is the past president who served from 2020 to 2022. We look forward to hearing more about these interesting women and their organization's contributions after our opening of the show. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. How's everyone doing?
Doing just fine. I scooted down here from Tacoma. They're having the Peninsula District meeting today. So I left there with my president's report and came right here.
And I waited for her to pick me up this morning so we could both be here at the same time.
Well, thank you for your time, really, ladies. Now I have to ask, you are in period costume. What is the celebration?
We're celebrating 140 years of Women's Club of Olympia that was started at March 10th, 1883. And the state wasn't even a state yet when we started. So we wanted to do community self-improvement at that point in time.
So it was a territory.
It was a territory.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So Sandra dug out all sorts of our old documents. We had the house tours. We had treats for afterwards. We had a celebratory cake. And we invited our politicians and the community, and it was anything that's 140 years needs to be celebrated. So we had a good time.
And what was your participation in this, Sandra?
Let's see. I made a quilt, and we raffled the quilt and sold $449 worth of tickets.
Yay.
And I added $1 to it this morning and made it $450. And one of our members actually won the quilt, and she was thrilled. So that was done as part of the celebration. We had legislators there, we had county commissioners, we had people from the Tumwater City Council were there, and they all got to speak and a little bit about the Women's Club. And we celebrated our remodeling of the house, the Abigail Stewart House, which we were able to get a grant of $250,000 back in 2020, and we did a lot of remodeling of the house, so it's beautiful now.
How did you get that grant?
We applied through the Washington State Legislature, their community grants, and we were awarded the $250,000, and we identified projects around the house that we wanted to do and that needed to be done, and we remodeled the kitchen. We took out old plywood cabinets and replaced them with a marble top buffet and windows above, which lit up the room. We called it Let in the Light Project. We were able to refinish all the floors in the building, and it just looks wonderful now.
Put in some new wiring too. So it's a 100-year-old house, so the wiring needed to be replaced. But over top of the buffet counter, now there's a whole row of, so you can put crock pots and coffee pots, and I'm thrilled.
Which we took advantage of yesterday at your housewarming.
Yes.
This is true.
So this is something you would like the general public to come and look at.
Absolutely.
The only thing that keeps us going and raising money for our scholarship programs is the rentals of that building.
Who are the main customers that you have?
The community. We rent it for birthday parties and anniversaries. I would love to have the legislators come down and use our building for breakout sessions and trainings. We're very close to the Capitol on 10th and Washington, so it would be easy for them to use our building for
Sure.
trainings.
Anything to add to that?
Oh, it's just, we have had a lot of legislative lobby days and things like that lately. It's hard for us to even have a date that we can use our house. We've been so busy with rentals, and it's the first time since COVID that we were able to actually have rentals scheduled, and because we couldn't rent the house out during the lockdowns.
So tell me about your mission.
Our mission is to do community service, enhancing lives one person at a time, and with volunteer service. So we have helped All Kids Win. I just donated, sponsored a child for a year, and it's you can go to the All Kids Win website and push a little donation button, and you can sponsor a child yourself, and that feeds them weekend food, 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, 2 dinners, and 4 snacks. Sandra drives those bags over to Jefferson Middle School and Capitol High School, so we support them a lot. We've sponsored Period Day, where feminine hygiene products are distributed in the community.
Dry tykes.
Dry tykes for people who can't afford food, really can't afford diapers. So Lance Benson has a building that he's got stuffed full. He helps family education and support services by locating and promoting diaper collections. We've had a family for Christmas through the Salvation Army, and my thing with that is always buy a big bucket and put all the cleaning supplies in it, because if you can't buy food, you sure aren't going to buy soap and shampoo and stuff like that. That's not really covered under.
Good point.
Yes. So that's my favorite thing. I actually belong to 2 different clubs, the Women's Club of Olympia and Capitol Women's Club, and they both sponsor. So I get 2 big buckets and go to town filling them up with laundry detergent and soap and a shampoo and all that stuff, and have fun doing it.
So we're kind of a clearinghouse for other nonprofits to come, and we donate to them and we help them out throughout the year. So we have projects that we work on all year.
And you do scholarships, I understand.
Yes, we do scholarships. We've with the COVID and all of that, we probably shouldn't have still given out $7,000 because it was hard to keep ends to meet, but we are still giving out $7,000 throughout Thurston County. You have to be a senior. You can be a boy or a girl, but you have to fill out our application. And unfortunately, this year we got lots of applications that weren't completed. So we had to whittle those out. We do have a scholarship winner that's going to be announced in June, and they get to bring their family to the Women's Club, and we have a luncheon, and they get to get their award and a certificate and have lunch with us.
Oh, how nice.
And that's really a fun
And
day.
we also send them on to the state level where they can also compete for a state level scholarship.
Oh my, yes.
So last year there was an extra $1,500 that came to the student that won. So I don't know. To me, I grew up as a poor kid. My dad was a logger. So he was out at Christmas time because there's too much snow, and then you're out in the summertime because it's too hot and you'll start a forest fire. So but I was never hungry. So all of these things that I do out of community service is because I don't want any other kid to have to go through that. So it comes from a ingrained part of me. And no kid should ever have to go hungry.
I agree. I agree. And what brought you, besides her recommending you join the women's club?
What brought me to the club? I joined when I retired. I found I had a lot of extra time on my hands, and I wanted to do something in the community, but I didn't know what. And so I was looking for something to do, and volunteer work just presented itself. And once you volunteer, it's like planting seeds. They grow, things pop up everywhere that you can help with. And I became suddenly overwhelmed with volunteer opportunities. But the Women's Club satisfies it by giving me lots of different ways to put my time.
And you know, she likes, she had a puppy dog that just passed away, so she's got a new kitty. But she brought us into taking stuff to the Humane Society that I didn't really realize that there's a need. So when we find needs, we try and fulfill them. And the beauty of joining the Women's Club of Olympia is that we have several different ways to help. And that's probably why I stayed there so long. We have an arts section, so you can paint, or you can go to plays, or you can do poetry writing. So that's an outlet. And you get tired of that, you can go on to environment, which used to be called conservation. And we have Federation Forest up by Enumclaw that like-minded women that were Women's Club members bought the land and continued to take care of it. So our next cleaning of we're supposed to plant kinnikinick up in the forest in front of the interpretive center, and that's going to be June 3rd. So there's always some new project that you can have public issues, you can do women's history. So you have all of those things that collectively are Women's Club of Olympia. So I've never left.
Pardon my ignorance. What are kinnikinick?
It's
a tree?
It's a bush.
A bush.
It gets little berries on it, little flowers, little berries. It's a pollinator thing. The Indians use it for medicinal purposes, and it's a native Northwest plant.
So it's ground cover.
Ground
and
cover.
we do need that in
Yes.
the forest, fire danger.
Right.
Now, how about your unpackage the motto?
Unity and diversity. To me, that means we all have the same goal in the end, but we have different ways of getting there. We all want safety. We all want food on the table. We all want a house over or roof over our heads. But you can do it your way. You can do it your way. And I get to do it my way. But in the big picture, we're all going to that same goal. And that's how I unpack that.
How about explaining who Abigail Stewart is and her impact?
Oh, Abby, her name is actually Abby. We found that out recently, but although our house is called Abigail, her name was Abby Howard Hunt Stewart. And she came to the Olympia area, and apparently she took it by storm. She was able to bring together a group of 9 founding members, and they started the club as an educational project to educate women. And a lot of their husbands didn't like the idea that women were joining a self-improvement group. And some women had to ask their husbands to join the group. Some men said, absolutely not, you're not going. And especially there was a judge that refused to let his wife join the club. But she got 9 members started, and they continued to grow. At one time, I think there were over 100.
Yes.
And we are at 40 members today. So, but Abby was quite a force to be reckoned with.
She was
She was a
a tomboy.
taskmaster
Tomboy.
also.
Yeah, you could call her a tomboy. She wore pants and she had her
Bobbed her
hair
hair.
cut short. And
Those were no-nos then.
those were no-nos in the 1800s. But she did it.
She had a child later in life. The story goes that she actually, in that day and age, was a spinster until she got married. And but when she had her little boy, he had beautiful curly blonde hair, and she'd never let him get it cut. So when he went off to school, he was teased, and I guess he learned to run really fast. So the story goes. So, but she was, I don't remember where she was born, somewhere back east.
Yeah.
And she came out here and lived with a relative and went out surveying property. So no wonder she wanted to wear trousers and bobbed her hair, because she tried to wash her hair in the creek because they were gone for like 2 months at a time. So she was just a different kind of individual. But again, she came out when we were a territory. So there wasn't a 7-Eleven down on the corner.
Yeah.
But she entertained tea parties that were disguised. They were called pink teas to negotiate the right for women to vote. So, and they called them pink teas. That was secret code that we're going to discuss what we're going to do to get to the right to vote. And we had it, and then we didn't, and we had it, and we didn't, and then we had to wait till 1920 before we actually got the right to vote. So they went, I don't know how they got the loan to purchase that house, because we were property. We didn't own property back in those days. So I'm glad that things changed for the better.
They raised the funds for the house by selling magazine subscriptions and doing fundraisers. And unfortunately, Abby was deceased by the time the building was finished in 1908. She died in 1902.
Now that's this building,
Yes.
this
Yes.
house.
Yes.
What a history.
Yes. One of the other things that, because I've been there for so long and listened to the older ladies talk about our history, Mary Shelton went to San Francisco to her cousin's house to a women's club meeting down there. But the women's club was not really a women's club. It was the husbands told them what they could listen to. The husbands were the president. The husband was the treasurer. And the ladies just got to sit and listen to the program that they chose. So when Mary Shelton got back to Olympia, she goes, that's not the way we're going to do it. And between those 9 women, and one was a doctor and one was a minister, and then there was Abby, and they did it all themselves. They had their own budget. Abby was the first president. Janet Moore was the daughter of one of the school teachers.
Phoebe Moore.
So they were quite a dynamic group. I hope they're proud of what we're doing now, because I don't think we could hold a candle to them.
No, I applaud you ladies for what you do now, but I can't think of very many of us that in this day and age right now would say, especially if we didn't have the vote, I want to start a club for women.
Right.
Now, if we're going to wind down now, I would like to find out a little bit about the General Federation of Women's Club.
That's our overall organization. And if you go to gfwc.org, there's a whole website that tells you all about how you can join and all the programs that they do. Back in the day when George H.W. Bush did his Points of Light, we were invited to go there. We have a house that's 3 stories tall that used to be owned by a ship captain back on N Street in Washington, D.C., which is our headquarters. So the building has got a fund to take care of their building. It's called the 1734. And so they started out with, that was the amount of the donation that you sent them to take care of their electricity. And they had a problem with a weak ceiling that where the dorm rooms are there. So they had to fix that before the.
Now, did you form before they did?
Yes, we did. GFWC, the international group, started in 1890. We were in 1883, so we had them. We were a club before Washington State was a state. So I'm quite proud of that fact.
So do you have anything else you would like to say about people wanting to join or get more information?
Oh, we'd love to have new members, because in order for the club to continue on, we need to have new members coming in that can take on leadership roles. We're not going to be here forever. And in 140 years from now, I would like to see the club still going and prospering as it is now. So anyone who wants to join may show up, and visit our website at womensclubofolympia.org. And we are welcoming to everyone. As we said, unity in diversity.
Yes.
I know there are people that are probably watching this saying, oh, I wouldn't mind joining, but I don't want to run an office and I don't want to be on a committee. I can be a worker bee. Are there positions for worker bees?
There are lots of positions for worker bees. The more that you are a worker bee, the prouder we are of you. And we do need leaders, though, too. We have a yearbook. Sandra puts out the yearbook, and it tells you month what the program is going to be and who's on the tea committee. And so you kind of know for the whole year, and you can say, oh, I want to do this one, and oh, I want to participate in that, or oh, I just want to do the diaper drive. So you get to pick and choose. You're a volunteer. I'm not going to tell you what you have to do.
Now, you talked about the tea. Is that the pink tea?
No.
No. Well, it should be, because the ERA is coming up again. So maybe we should stick that in. So I want you all to vote for equal rights for women. Yes.
The tea is refreshments for
Yes.
each meeting.
All right, in the last 2 minutes, what would you like to put out there, ladies?
Well, we have a lot of fun.
We do have fun.
We have a lot of fun. We're starting a bingo or a bunco group. I love flowers. I did the flowers for the meeting the other night, and I grow a bunch of dahlias. And the more you pick them, the more you get. So I kind of want to do a flower arrangement class. I have no training. I just love to do it. And Sandra is talking about doing a cement leaf kind of project. So
For
we're going to do more, not just hand out money or buy diapers. We're going to do more fun projects just for ourselves.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Have you decided on a day for either one of those events?
The bunco party
Is Tuesday the 14th
yes.
of March.
Oh, next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Leafs, we're talking about doing that in April or early May.
Yes. But I love what I do, and I came all the way back from Arizona to be here for that anniversary party. So I'm a staunch believer in GFWC and Women's Club of Olympia.
So you gave up your love of your life, being on the road trailering, to come back.
My husband was so happy to bring me home because I kept complaining, but the weather wasn't all that well in Arizona this year. But he loves it. I don't.
Well, I can't begin to thank you ladies enough for everything you've shared here today. I hope it has imparted some interest in people.
Me too.
And we will play it up.
Thank
I'll
you.
tell two friends, you'll tell two friends.
Right. That's how it works.
And
Coming here, I was at the grocery store and one lady goes, "Oh my, you look fabulous. What are you doing?" "I'm coming here to be interviewed, but you should come and join us." So anytime I get a chance to ask someone to join, I will.
I've already done that.
Good.
And
Thank you for having us here.
You are welcome.
It's important to get the word out.
Yes.
it's the only way it works.
True.
I had not heard how active your organization was.
We're the best kept secret in Olympia.
I've been here with old car club members way back, and we would rent the facility. The first time we came, oh, we're going to make it a potluck, and we'll bring the turkey, and we'll bring the potatoes, and we'll bring everything. And of course, then there's the cleanup and the setup, and we
Yes.
got done. And one of your representatives said, "Well, you know, you can just rent the club."
Okay.
And I said, "Done."
Yes.
So we appreciate our guests taking time to come and talk with us. Thank you for watching In the Know Women Show. Until next time.